Hello, hello. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? If you can hear me, please signify, go to the comments and signify. Hello, welcome. Amaka Evolving Germs. Oge Anene, you're welcome. Charity, you're welcome. Mutiat, you're welcome. So if you can hear me, please leave some feedback. Go to the comments and say, yes, I can hear you. Yes, I can see the feedback coming in already. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Please leave some message for others in the chats, and in our group chats, and let them know that we are live already. They don't want to miss today's session. It promises to be informative, very fun, and exciting. Yeah. Okay, so without wasting much of our time, welcome to BitQueens, and today we're starting our blockchain journey. Yay! We're starting our blockchain journey, and we are going to be learning blockchain from the scratch. Yes, you got that right. So very quickly, I'm going to pull up my screen that will guide us in today's conversation. Yeah. So let me know if you can read my screen. I just pulled it up now. If you can read my screen, leave me some feedback in the comments. Yes. I can see your feedback coming in. Thank you very much. Okay, so today we're starting, like I said, this is BitQueens, and here what we do is to learn about blockchain technology in the simplest and most fun way. And like we said in our previous session, we're going to be rolling out trainings that will help us understand blockchain technology and see how we can empower ourselves with this technology. So we are actually kickstarting our blockchain journey today. So it's official. We are on our journey, and we're going to be learning blockchain from scratch. So whether you're a total beginner or you already have some knowledge, do not worry. The material we're going to be using, that's the slide, has been curated to cover everybody. And so you are just welcome. And so because this is going to be in parts, that's the basics. We can't possibly cover everything in one sitting or one session. So we're going to break the blockchain basics into different modules that will help us, take the information in bite sizes, but yet in fun and exciting ways. So today we're looking at blockchain basics module 1. So the very basics are what we're going to be looking at today. We're going to be building the foundation from ground up. And today I'm going to be your lead for today's conversation. I'm Christy Emmanuel, and I'm a blockchain educator and founder for BitQueens. So without wasting much of our time, what are we going to learn today? What are we going to be learning? I'm sure you are glued to your screen, just like this image you're seeing here. Yeah, it doesn't matter whether you have your rollers on, whether you still have your makeup on or not. Whatever it is, it's going to be fun, no pressures at all. We're going to be having exciting time. So what are we going to be learning? We're briefly going to be looking at the evolution of the web, because that forms the foundation for almost everything that we're going to be discussing today. And of course, we're going to look at the history of blockchain very briefly. We're also going to look at what blockchain is and how it works, features of blockchain, and we're going to have a little intro into cryptocurrencies and blockchain application. And then we're going to end it with a game, an activity as it were. Of course, we're also going to have our interactive session. So it promises to be fun. I'd encourage you to get your journals, your screenshot application, whatever works for you, to be able to capture those moments that strike you during the presentation. And if you have any questions while on the presentation, feel free to leave them in the charts. As I go through them I'll be able to incorporate, the responses in the presentation. So with that said, let's get right into it. Okay, so the first thing we're going to be looking at is the evolution of the web. So when I say web, I mean the World Wide Web. That's what you call WWW, yes. And so before I quickly give us the rundown of how the web has evolved up until now, let me quickly differentiate the web from the internet. So sometimes people, mix it up, the web and the internet. Actually, they are two separate things. Now, let's look at this diagram here. As you can see, this is probably a neighborhood, very nice neighborhood, as you can see. And you can see some roads leading to the different houses. Maybe here you have shopping malls, you have hospitals, you may have, businesses, offices, living homes, all kinds of buildings here. But you can see that there are roads connecting each of these buildings. Okay, so from one location to the other within this estate, you have, different roads. You can even see in between, we still have some other smaller roads. Okay, so these roads here represent the internet because it is the network that interconnects, these houses that you see here. So the web are actually the houses that you see. But what links the houses together, what allows it function is the internet. So here in this illustration here, the internet allows the webs to work, allows them to connect. That's why computers can communicate with each other. Your phone can communicate with the internet or communicate with other, phones or computers out there because of the internet. So the internet is an interconnectivity that allows these websites or these webs, as it were, to interact. So with that set aside, let's look at how the web has evolved. So what we mean by evolution is how it has developed from its inception or invention till now, and why it's important we understand how that works. Okay, so the web is divided into three. Majorly in history, we have three stages or developmental stages of the web. We have Web 1.0, we have Web 2.0, and we have Web 3.0, which is where we're at the moment. So the Web 1 was launched in 1991. Actually, it was invented sometime in 1989. And by 1991, it was made public, meaning that people could now, access the web as it were. So in case you're wondering, what exactly is Web 1.0? Just imagine that you are in a very big library where you are studying, but unfortunately, all you do there is to consume the information that you have in the books in the library. You can't really make any contribution. For instance, in the book that is already printed that you're reading, as you can see here in the picture, you can't really change anything here. You can't change any information. So it's just you consuming what information you already have in that book. That's exactly how Web 1 was at its launch. It was what we call the read-only format. It was in a format that was read-only, meaning that you couldn't really make any changes. You couldn't really contribute, much. So you were just consuming information. And so that lingered around between 1991 to 2004. So in case you're wondering, what are those webs or that had this kind of feature, then you'll be thinking of Wikipedia. Remember Wikipedia? It's a public, a site where people can go and get information. So it's one example of, a read-only, kind of web. We had Yahoo in those days. It was a site actually where you could go and get information. But what was really very significant about these web sites were the fact that you couldn't really make any changes and it was manual. So the updating of information was not automatic. It was done manually by the owners of these sites. And, so you could come at a time when information has not been updated on the site. So these are the things that stood out for this era for Web 1.0, and it lasted between 1999 to about 2004. Then we got into Web 2.0. Of course, there's nothing static. Of course, the people behind it, and of course, the creators continued updating it, making it better, making it seamless, so that we could even have better experience. So we got to Web 2.0. So it's around 2004 to 2010. Guess what? What made this Web 2.0 different from Web 1.0? Now it became more interactive, meaning that you can now contribute information. It was not just you consuming information or consuming data, as it were, or getting information, as it were. You could now contribute. So it involved the users. So it was not only those who invented it or very few who controlled it. Now you too can contribute. Remember your Facebook? Yes, the social media era, as it were, allowed you and I to be participants in providing information, in providing content, whether it's video content, whether it's text content, or whatever format that is. The Web 2.0 era allowed more people to participate. But one thing also stood out, or still stands out for Web 2.0, the fact that it is still heavily centralized. Centralized means controlled by a few people, okay? And so you can have Facebook. Facebook is owned by Mark Zuckerberg. We have Google, we have Twitter, now called X. As at the time of doing this presentation, Twitter is already called X. And of course, you have Amazon, you have YouTube. All these are Web 2.0 sites and organizations. And so though it was more interactive, meaning that you and I can contribute, it was still really very centralized, meaning that, the control was still very much in the hands of very few people. And so issues like centralization. Have you ever had, a situation where the algorithm of any social media site you have dictates what you see, dictates what you read, dictates kind of videos you watch, and things like that. So it's pretty much still very controlled. And so, but guess what? Nothing is really static, as it were. People are always working on it to see that it gets better. And now we are in Web 3.0, and that is started to, surface as from 2010 till now. So we've had a transition from Web 1.0 to Web 2.0 to Web 3.0. Guess what? Web 3.0 is more decentralized. Decentralized means that it's no longer controlled by any one person, and it's more flexible and gives power back to the individual. So you are, you have the control over what you see, what you watch, the kind of content you want to engage with, and the things you put out there. So you see, it's now more participatory and of course, more decentralized. So that's where we are now. So in case you're wondering, what are those Web3 sites or organizations or, World Wide Web that we, interact with? This Web3 is the foundation for the decentralized, ledger technology, which is blockchain technology. And of course, we have Bitcoin, because that really gave rise to a decentralized, digital money, kind of virtual money, okay? We're going to be coming to this. Then we have browsers like Brave, where it's actually decentralized. It's like, the Google Chrome you use, but it has a lot of decentralized features and it rewards the user for their participation. The other way around, it's the owners of this that earn more, okay, while the users participate, the owners gain more. But here you have everybody participating and of course benefiting according to their participation. So we have Audius. Audius is another Web3 site. Actually is a song streaming site where artists can put their songs, and these songs are streamed and they get rewarded for using the platform. We have OpenSea. OpenSea is a site where people can sell their works of art. So it's no longer a situation where it's in the hands of very few people. There's opportunity for you to sell to anyone, no matter where they may be, any work of art that especially if that work of art is none like other. I mean, you don't have duplicates anywhere. It's just it. That's what we call NFTs. If you've heard of NFTs before, or otherwise known as non-fungible tokens, then these are sites where people who have such arts can go there and market it. Then we have Steemit. All these are Web3 sites and they allow you to take control of your participation on the internet. Okay, so you see how the web has transitioned from Web 1.0, from being a read-only kind of site to a bit more flexible kind of site where people participate. So it's not only just consuming information, you could now contribute, but still it was still very centralized. And now we have a situation where it is decentralized and you can now choose the kind of content you want to consume, where you want to be, even what you choose to learn. Okay, so it's such a fantastic stage that we're at, and this particular Web3 is the stage of the web that powers blockchain technology and all other decentralized ledger technologies and emerging technologies like AI and the rest. Okay, so that's by way of summary, the evolution of the web. Yeah, so the history of blockchain technology. How actually did blockchain come to be? All right, so blockchain technology would not be complete. The story of blockchain technology would not be complete without these two gentlemen, Stuart Haber and Scott Stoneter. So these two men are scientists, they are researchers. And so one of the things that constantly give them worries is, how do we make sure that documents that are sent over the internet are trusted? I mean, you can send documents or information to someone over the internet and you are sure that it's not is not duplicated or maybe corrupted in a way, or maybe the information on it is changed. So they started to work on that idea. By 1991, they had developed a system that allowed them, allowed one send information like documents, for instance, where it is timestamped. Timestamps means the time at which it was exchanged is captured and you cannot change it. So it was that invention that laid the foundation for the blockchain technology, So these two gentlemen were very, very instrumental to how blockchain came to be, because it was on the basis of their discovery and their invention that Satoshi Nakamoto, who is actually the inventor of Bitcoin, built a system of the Bitcoin system, as it were. And so Satoshi Nakamoto is the inventor of Bitcoin. We do not at this moment know who he is, whether it's just one person or group of persons. So it's always referred to as an individual or group of individuals under the name Satoshi Nakamoto. Yeah, so actually there were events that took place before the launch of Bitcoin in 2009. Okay, so prior to that time, the world started experiencing a lot of economic meltdown. There was financial crisis sometime in 2008, and Satoshi Nakamoto, whether it's an individual or group of individuals that that were working on a system that allows people to send money over the internet without losing it, without losing trust, in a transparent and secure manner. Take, for instance, if you send someone a document, for instance, if you send me a document, I'm going to receive that document, but guess what? You are still going to have a copy of that document, right? Okay, so the question now is, how do we now send other valuables over the internet? How can I send money over the internet to another person without having to have the same money with me? So there needed to be a way to be able to transfer such kind of value in a way that it was secure, in a way that it was transparent, in a way that it was decentralized, without relying on any one person or any central authority or any banks or any intermediaries or any government, as it were. This was what led to the launch of Bitcoin. And this was strongly based on the invention that these two gentlemen who founded, built the foundation for blockchain. So Satoshi Nakamoto, whether it's an individual or group of people, used that as the basis to be able to launch this coin called Bitcoin. So Bitcoin, but prior to 2009, when it was actually launched, when it went live, Satoshi Nakamoto released the Bitcoin white paper. So Bitcoin white paper simply means a technical document, that describes this system. So he called it Bitcoin a peer-to-peer, system. And so in that white paper, he or whoever they were described, everything about Bitcoin, how it works, the features, everything that, you needed to know about this particular virtual money or virtual currency called Bitcoin. And after that paper was released, Bitcoin went live in January 2009. And of course, when it went live, not too many people understood what it was or even, interacted with it. It took a little while before people started interacting with it, understanding what it was, although it was not so much, but at least there were people who started making progress, started, educating others. And before you know it, by 2010, 2011, other cryptocurrencies had started to emerge. One significant cryptocurrency that emerged was Ethereum, Ether, as it were, which was launched in 2015 by Buterin Vitalik. Okay, so we're not talking about cryptocurrencies today, but I thought to give you all that information. We're going to be talking about cryptocurrencies in our subsequent sessions deeply so that you understand how that works. So Bitcoin was launched in January 2009, and since then it has gone mainstream and has continued to gain more and more adoption. So now you're asking, what exactly is blockchain? What exactly is blockchain technology? Now you know that blockchain is a technology, but you do not know what kind of technology it is and how it functions. So I like to give this example. Let's say you have a store or your office, your business, maybe you are a fashion person or you sell cosmetics and things like that. And you have your shop, you have how you capture information. Maybe you have a book, a ledger, something that allows you capture information about your business. Now, because you capture that alone and the information you capture on that book is open to you alone, it's called a centralized ledger. Okay, because it's all within your control. Your customers do not know what you have in there. Other people who do not know what you have in there, unless you allow them see it. Okay, so enter blockchain. Blockchain is a ledger, similar book like you have, but this time around it's public, meaning that every person who is on a particular network where your ledger or your book is published, that is where your ledger or book has gone live, is able to see what information you have there. And because it's open, you cannot make any changes. Whereas if it were within your own control, like in the first example I cited, it was possible for you to make any corrections you wanted, make any manipulations if you chose, or, you know, adjust the figures. But once it was on a public network, it was not possible for you to do so. Why? Because everybody now knows what's on that ledger. So blockchain technology is a digital ledger or a book that captures information or transaction in an open manner, in a transparent manner, and in a secured manner. Open because it is decentralized, transparent because it is distributed. Everyone on the network has a copy of the book. So it's not like the book is in a central area. No, everyone, let's say we have 1 million people on that network. As so long they're on that network, they have a copy of what you already, you know, what's on that ledger. And so it's distributed, as it were, and, you know, it's secure. What brings the security is the fact that people know what information is contained on the ledger. So any attempt to try to change it is statistically impossible. So this explains what blockchain technology is. I hope you got that. It's as simple as it can get. Blockchain is a digital ledger. Digital because you cannot see, it's not something you hold in your hand like you see in the image here, but it's a ledger that captures information or transaction or data in a decentralized, in a transparent and secure manner. So you want to screenshot this page, it will help. So how does blockchain work? Okay, so you can see this is how a network. By the way, when I say network, I also mean blockchain. So you can have a network. It's network because you can see a lot of people. These are called nodes. Nodes, you know, is just another way to say computers or, you know, gadgets that connect to that network. So these are nodes, computers, as it were, and as you can see, these nodes are manned by people who are on the network. And you can see the interconnectivity. Everyone is connected to everyone. So everyone knows what every other person knows. And so when someone wants to send, you know, an information across, or maybe you want to send a cryptocurrency, or you want to send money, digital, virtual money like Bitcoin, for instance, what happens is that this information is captured. Everyone can see what you're about to do, and they can confirm that you actually have it. Okay, so before you can send it, there has to be confirmation that you actually have it, and then the system captures how much you want to send, or, you know, the public address with which you want to send it, so everybody sees you have it, and then they can confirm it. So a copy of that transaction is now captured by each of these ledgers, and so it is now joined to the other transactions that are also waiting to be confirmed, because each transaction has to be verified and, you know, authenticated. So the process of doing that is not something we're going to be describing in this class because it's a bit more advanced, but just so you know, that process of trying to send value across or information across is actually verified, is actually authenticated to be sure it's true, and everybody can now hold a copy once it is verified, so that you know, it cannot be changed. So one of the very strong features of blockchain is its immutability feature. Immutability means not being able to change the information once it is captured. So once these transactions are captured, they are put together in a block. Okay, so that's how blockchain actually got its name, because information, data, transactions are packaged in blocks that are linked to each other by chain, hence the name blockchain. So once they are verified and confirmed, then the other person at the other end receives value. So very key, 3 things you ought to know about blockchain: the principles that it operates on, that is so strong that if taken away, no longer represents it as blockchain, is the decentralization feature, is the immutability feature, and the security feature. These 3 things are very key. And of course, the consensus feature. Consensus means the agreement of what is true and what is not. So you can't have a few saying, oh, Mary's just sent 10 Bitcoins to Martha. No, some cannot say no. Everybody has to agree that that is true. So that is one of the strongest feature, the consensus feature, that allows everyone to agree on who owns what and what is true and what is not. So this is why it is called decentralized technology, because it's not controlled by one person. Everybody is involved, as it were. So that's how blockchain works. Now let's quickly look at the features of blockchain. I've already mentioned a few of them already, like immutability. You cannot change whatever information you have there. It's distributed, meaning that all those who are in the network have a copy of the blockchain. So those nodes, the nodes, when I say nodes, I mean computers have a copy of each of the transactions or each of the block of information that that is running on that network. Is decentralized, not controlled by any one person, is secure, like I've already said. The consensus feature, where everyone agrees to who owns what and what is true and what is not. Then it's unanimous, meaning that people can send value without really, letting out their identity. But again, is also possible for you to still send your information and your ID can be identified. So when people say using blockchain makes it completely anonymous, people can know you, that's not completely true. Certain situations might, warrant you to prove your identity, and that, exists on the blockchain. So faster settlement, because it takes relatively shorter amount of time to send value over blockchain versus the traditional way people send value, for instance, money. Okay, so it's possible for you to transfer Bitcoins or any kind of cryptocurrency or value at a much faster, speed and time than it will happen normally if you were to use the centralized systems like the banks, for instance. So these are the features. These are the things that make blockchain very unique, to make it stand out. And it's these features are the features that are also seen to it that blockchain is disrupting different industries. By this disrupting, I mean transforming, changing the way those industries or fields work. Okay, so one misconception that people usually have is they think that Bitcoin is blockchain. So when you say, have you heard, I still can remember, I've spoken to a few women in the past, and when I asked them, have you heard of blockchain? They'll say, blockchain. Maybe they pause for a while and they say, yes, I've heard Bitcoin. So there's this misconception or misinformation, or how do I put it, mix up, as it were, to think that Bitcoin is blockchain. No, Bitcoin is not blockchain. In fact, you can have blockchain without Bitcoin or without cryptocurrencies, as it were, but you cannot have these cryptocurrencies without the blockchain, meaning that the blockchain itself is the technology and can be applied in, to different areas without necessarily having to have a cryptocurrency attached to that blockchain. Yes, most of the blockchains out there have their own native coin or cryptocurrency, but not necessarily, or for you to say that these cryptocurrencies are Bitcoin. So when you say, these cryptocurrencies, represent a blockchain, no. Blockchain is the technology that allows these cryptocurrencies to run. So it underlies these cryptocurrencies, meaning that without the blockchains or the technology itself, you cannot have these cryptocurrencies. So we have a lot of cryptocurrencies. Cryptocurrencies, by the way, are virtual, digital or virtual currencies. Digital because you cannot touch it physically, like our fiat currency, like the naira, like the dollar, like the pounds, every other, fiat currency that out there. Cryptocurrencies are digital, they are virtual, okay? And they run on blockchain. And since the launch of Bitcoin till now, there are about 23,000 cryptocurrencies that are running on different blockchains as we speak. So as you can see on my screen, we have a number of them here: Bitcoin, Ether, Ethereum is the blockchain on which Ether runs. So each of these cryptocurrencies have their blockchains, okay? So we have the Litecoin, we have Solana, we have XRP. There's a lot of them. Like I said, cryptocurrencies are not within our conversation for today, but in our subsequent sessions, we're going to be focusing squarely on cryptocurrencies, understanding how they work and how you can interact with them and how you can acquire them and things like that. We have Dogecoin, BNB, we have Theta. Actually, this Theta is more of a stable coin. It's more like the virtual dollar, the virtual type of the physical dollar, and it runs on quite a number of blockchains. It can run on the Ethereum blockchain, it can run on the Tron blockchain, it can run on a number of other blockchains. So cryptocurrencies are virtual currencies that run on the blockchain. So Bitcoin is not blockchain, but Bitcoin has its own blockchain. And so that's why sometimes if you've had a situation or you've been able to interact with these cryptocurrencies, you're asked to be very sure that you're sending the right coin over the right blockchain, so that everything goes seamless. Okay, so like we already said, blockchain has so many applications. Again, is just to let you know that cryptocurrencies are not just the only application. When Bitcoin, when blockchain was launched and when it started becoming mainstream, started gaining adoption, a lot of people used to think that Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies were the only application for blockchain. And so a lot of people had that misconception without really understanding that blockchain is actually a standalone technology that can be applied to different areas of life to create innovative solutions, unique solutions, as it were, that will, that is tackling the challenges that humanity is facing. And there is, from the time it was launched till now, at least 19 industries are already being disrupted. By disrupted, I mean are being transformed already. The way those industries work are already being changed or transformed because of blockchain applications. So blockchain has found use case in real estate, in healthcare, in banking and finance. This is a it's a topic on its own that we're going to also be discussing. But I just wanted to bring this up so that you know that cryptocurrency is not the only application. So why cryptocurrencies can help in terms of transactions, exchange of value, transfer of value, securely, transparently, decentrally. Blockchain also can be applied to other areas of life, like real estate, like entertainment, supply chain, even in education. Yes. So we're going to be having special classes where we discuss this in depth so that you can see the application of of blockchain to each of these industries and more. Okay, so that's it. Congratulations. We've come to the end. Remember, we're learning this in bite sizes so that we're able to, follow through, understand, and of course, learn. So we've come to the end of what we have for today. So what did we learn? We learned about the evolution of the internet. We talked about Web 1.0, Web 2.0, Web 3.0, which is where we are now. Yes. So we also looked at a brief history of blockchain technology. We also looked at how it works. We looked at the features. We talked a little bit about cryptocurrencies, and we said Bitcoin is not blockchain. We have blockchain, which is a technology. Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies run on the blockchain. And then we looked at a few blockchain applications, areas in which blockchain is already disrupting. Okay, so cryptocurrencies are one of such applications where people can now exchange value in terms of payments and things like that. Then real estate, education, entertainment, aviation, all different kinds of industries as it were. So that brings us to the end of our of our session, of our training as it were. If you are still following, go to the comments and leave number 1. I want to see your feedback coming in. Just go to the chats. If you've been listening, you've been following, you've been understanding, you've been learning, you've been having a great time, just go to the comments and leave me some feedback. I want to see the feedback coming in. Thank you, Amaka Evolving Germs, for leaving your feedback. I want to see all that feedback coming in. Thank you so very much. So as we draw close to the end of the training, remember our vision here at BitQueens is to help you learn about blockchain in the simplest, and the most enjoyable way possible. Of course, building a community where you feel supported, you're confident in yourself, and of course, you're excited to explore the opportunities that are bound in this space. So thank you so very much for your feedback, and I hope you enjoyed today's session. So we're going to actually be fast-tracking this. We're hoping to continue to have these sessions every Sunday. So please, I'd like us to mark our calendars. We're hoping to have this every Sunday to make it regular, and of course, to make it as fun, as easy to understand as possible, engaging, entertaining as possible. So on this note, I'd like to thank everyone that came today. Thank you, BitQueens. You made it happen again today. Yay. And so please, let's look out for the next details, or the details for our next session. We're going to be leaving it in our group chat, and let's do well to invite our friends to join our sessions. Of course, learning blockchain, how it works, is one way we as women can empower ourselves. I tell you what, women usually have very unique perspective to things, and it's only important that we take advantage of our uniqueness, the unique perspectives that we have to disrupt this technology, to empower ourselves with this technology. So here at BitQueens, we're building a community where you learn blockchain technology, you're confident, and of course, you are excited to explore all the possibilities that are available in the space. So I'd like to thank you, Mutia, Charity, Medinat, Oge, Mary, Amaka Evolving Germs, and anyone who was here earlier or maybe logged up for one reason or the other. We sincerely thank you. We hope to see you again in our next section. Bye for now. Bye, BitQueens. Bye-bye.